So next, I'd like to take everyone, a walk down memory lane, or we'll call it ad tech lane, right? So in 1995, the first ad server was created. Then obviously we had the foundation of DoubleClick. AdSets was acquired by Google for, it's pretty amazing. What a great purchase that was. And then in 2007, the first mobile ad network came on board, followed by real-time bidding, header bidding, and the introduction of web, and in-app header bidding starts in around 2015. So what I'm really trying to say is, if you think about the longevity of things, app is pretty nascent from an ad tech perspective, right? We have almost 27 years of innovation where we've been able to kind of, if you think about web, I remember back in the day, it was the Wild West, and people were making money doing all these crazy things. And then video exploded, and that was the Wild West, and it got cleaned up and normalized and uniform throughout all these things. And then app is kind of in the same place, right? We're 15 years in, but we still have a long way to go. And we feel there's just so much innovation that can happen around app, and we're kind of excited to do that. So knowing that we all work in many different systems, so there's web, there's app, there's CTV or OTT, whatever you want to call it. I know from a Playwire perspective, when we do media buys, it's really a one-to-many. It's you're buying an ad unit, and it can run on CTV, it can run on web, it can run on app. So how is Google driving parity between web and ad tech?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think you did a great job of kind of outlining that timeline. But it's interesting to think about how Google's approached this both from like a hybrid perspective, so partners that are monetizing app and web versus app only. As you mentioned or alluded to in the beginning, we have AdMob and Ad Manager. So our AdMob is our pure play app-based monetization tool. You can sign up for an AdMob account super easily, but it is very limited in terms of like the sophisticated optimizations that you can make on an AdMob. There's, conducting like a direct deal or a programmatic guaranteed deal, or having, ads run across a website and an app, or leveraging kind of like these open bidding things in tandem with anything that's like programmatic or direct. It can be challenging. So we have, a tool that works for people that are looking for that like outside of the box solution. But we also have, the people that were working on DoubleClick, and DoubleClick is turned into Ad Manager, which is now the product that we use, and migrating between DoubleClick and AdX, which is now Google Ad Manager. So it's been really interesting, I think, to see that journey evolve and see how some of our partners are able to leverage it. And I think Playwire has done a really excellent job at being both on top of that migration in general, but also thinking about how can we leverage the power that Google Ad Manager has at scale for app partners. And when you think about parity between like web and app tech, like Ad Manager was not created for app, it has been enhanced to allow app. And I think that that's what's really interesting, because you have all of the benefits and the power from that 27 years of the web-based industry, but now you're leveraging app inventory on that. So all of the expertise and all the learnings that you have from how you've successfully scaled web businesses can be directly applied to the app space, with of course expansions. So I think that's one really important thing to note. The other thing is, like, when you think like 4 years ago, like open bidding didn't exist for app. So it was very new. I remember when I started at Google, it was like 4.5 years. People were talking about like an alpha, like, oh my God, real-time bidding, this is going to completely shake up the industry. And so it's really interesting to see how quickly things move along, how innovative I think like the bidding is, but also how far there still is to go. Everything isn't being done on a unified basis, but I think what you do really well is leverage all of the like the waterfall based stuff with header bidding that you have on the website. You have that all integrated with Google Open Bidding. So you're able to kind of tailor the monetization experience to be like, okay, how can I take the best of each part of Google? How can I take the best of each thing that I've learned and set up my app developers for success? There's also like a lot of innovation that exists in terms of the demand partners. So as we continue to scale this business, as more people adopt open bidding, that is what's driving the market. So Facebook being an open bidding, we're going to have like AppLove and like some of our other leading app partners bidding primarily in the open auction as more app inventory comes about. So I think it's kind of a little bit of like what came first, the chicken or the egg, like whichever continues to go is how it's going to go. And eventually it'll kind of be hopefully a cycle that, needs limited maintenance?
I think you're so right in that history plays a big part in this. So we've been doing this for 15 years. We literally took we made every mistake, every failure you could possibly think of. So when app came around, we kind of knew what not to look for or what fail safes to put in place. And we're kind of trying to have this, simple, scalable methodology of everything we do. Whatever we do has to work for everyone, and it's got to be simple and scalable and be able to deploy it. So with that being said, Nick, with our history on the website, what's the chasm that we've seen between technology on the web and app as we build our app platform?
Boy, there's so many things here. I don't even know where to begin. Like Robyn said, a lot of things that I want to follow up on and that tie into this. Let me go first to SDKs. So a big difference between what you see on the website and what you see on the app side is the very need for an SDK. Those of you who have worked on the website, you're used to the idea that you can drop a script as a line of code into your page, maybe throw a couple of divs in place that are indicating where your ads are going to go, and you can call it a day. The integrations are very easy. There isn't the whole life cycle of needing to launch the app, get it approved in app stores. When you're dealing with app, it's very different. That life cycle is slowed down by the things I was talking about, but also by the fact that each mediation partner has its own SDK that you have to integrate. We've been taking steps at Playwire to try to bring those together into kind of you can almost think of it like a meta SDK. Here's one SDK, one ring to rule them all, just drop it in, and that takes care of all of the different kinds of advertising that you need to do. But it would be a lot better if we didn't even have to do that. It'd be a lot better if there weren't these SDKs in the first place. And I have to give Google a lot of credit here. What Robyn was talking about with getting some of the mediation partners to move to open bidding, that's a huge deal. It's a huge deal not only because it eliminates then the need to have that SDK in place with another set of possible bugs that could happen, another set of reasons why you might have to resubmit your app to the App Store, things like this. But again, it gets more people into that unified auction framework with transparent real-time bids. So all of that is really good, and we love the effectively pressure that Google is bringing to bear on the industry to work in that fashion. So that's a big area. But another thing that I wanted to highlight is going back to Google Ad Manager as a platform. And Robyn, you were talking about how you're effectively taking a web ad app platform and incorporating the app capability into it. That's so perfect for us because not only does it allow us to reapply the technology and skills and expertise that we've already developed with Google Ad Manager over many, many years at this point, but it also means that we can have accounts, publishers that we work with that span web and app, and all of their information can come into one place, whether it's ad performance or it's revenue, payouts, all of that channels into one place. So our publishers can log into our platform, see all of that information, and that's hugely helpful to them. It's very hard when you're forced to, as a publisher, go here, there, and everywhere in order to understand how your ads are performing, how your business fundamentally is performing. But because of the way that GAM supports that unified account too, we're able to provide unified account information to our publishers, and that's great.